I'm guessing that you're here because you want to know about selling cash secured puts on margin. Well, if that's the case, then do I have a video for you. I think cash secured puts are probably the best thing that have happened to my portfolio in 2021. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what a cash secured put is, show you how to sell one on margin, and then actually sell one on margin in my Robinhood account. If you don't like Robinhood, I'm sorry, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, show you that I love cash secured puts, and I'll also show you how I track them on a little spreadsheet that I made for option writing strategies. Let's do this. If you don't have a great understanding of options already, some of the things I'm about to say might not make sense. If you want to search on YouTube for a great options tutorial, there are a number out there that you can check out. But right now, I'm just going to assume you know the basics about options and jump into what a cash secured put really is. What you're doing with a cash secured put is you're putting up an amount of money as collateral at the same time that you give somebody an options contract to be able to buy a stock at a certain price that is below the price where it is currently. The stock that I'll show you an example on in just a moment is Uber. It's trading at around $50 a stock right now. If I were to sell the $49 cash secured put, what I'd be putting up as collateral is $4,900, and I'd be selling this option to somebody for a premium. Call it 20 bucks. Then, later down the line, if this option expires in the money, my collateral will be exercised, so Robinhood will take that money and buy 100 shares of Uber at $49. Then likely I'll be at a loss because the stock would be below that for the contract to be in the money. Alternatively, if the stock goes higher, what's going to happen is that my collateral is going to be released. I get that back, it goes back into my buying power, and I just keep the premium since the contract expired worthless. Since we're in a rampant bull market right now, it's really great to sell cash secured puts because it seems that every stock is going up. Of course, this is not always going to be the case, but there are a number of tools in your toolkit for writing cash secured puts where you can avoid losing a lot of money. You can roll your options down, or you can start the wheel strategy where once you get exercise for those shares, you can start selling covered calls on them. Why I like this strategy so much is that you can sell it on margin for basically free. If you're watching this video, I hope you also know what a margin account is. If you don't, I don't know if I'd recommend selling cash secured puts right away, but do what's best for you and make sure to do your own research. If you do know what a margin account is, you know that likely you're paying interest on margin since it's money that a company lends to you to buy and sell securities with. The main reason that cash secured puts are so great to sell on margin is because you don't pay interest on options collateral. So that money you put up for that option is not being paid interest on. If you get exercised for that amount of money, you'll immediately start paying interest on it, but until that point, no interest, at least on Robinhood. I thought this was a little bit too good to be true, so I emailed Robinhood just to check on what they're doing with margin and cash secured puts. Here's what they said. The maintenance requirements described above are not affected by the collateral held for your short contracts. The amount required for collateral is fixed based on the underlying security or strike price of the contract. Like I was saying before, the $4,900 that I would put up for a $49 contract is the collateral. Where maintenance requirement can come into play is if the equity in your account falls below the threshold necessary to maintain the positions held in your account. You can follow the steps above where he basically just outlined what a margin requirement is and what a margin call is if you're ever in question. As for whether or not your collateral will ever need to be used depends on whether you are assigned, which can happen at any time. Whether any contract is in or out of the money is not relevant. What Robinhood is saying there is they're essentially just kind of covering their bases because yeah, if you're way out on margin, you're using 100% of the allowed margin and you're losing a ton of money in the other things you're putting margin into, you could be in a lot of hot water if all of a sudden your cash secured put gets exercised. The ways to avoid this are to make sure your cash secured puts are always significantly or decently out of the money so that you're rolling them in case they ever do get into the money. Also, you can make sure to sell cash secured puts significantly out of the money to start with. That way, it's unlikely that they come into the money and you don't have to worry about rolling them. So, when looking for a cash secured put, this is what you got to do. You're going to pull up Robinhood right here, and once you pull it up, you're going to see the stock. So, I'm going to do this with Uber, like I said before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into trade Uber options. They're currently trading at $50.74. I like a weekly cash secured put myself, but you can do whatever you want. And you need to go to sell and put. Sell is the same thing as write, which means you are going short a contract instead of long, which would mean to buy a put. And put means going down. It's going to pull up this here. I'm going to hide this chart just to get this out of the way. And right now you can see the share price in the middle. So you can see that, sure, yeah, you could sell a cash secured put in the money, but that's a terrible idea, especially since our strategy is to keep them out of the money so we don't pay interest on our margin. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do about $1 and change out of the money to this 49.5, maybe even 49. I like that. 76 bucks for 1 week of holding a cash secured put is pretty solid. So what I'm going to do here, I'll select it. It'll pop up here. You'll see that I'll be paid about 70 and change dollars for this situation here. Max profit $76 at the full premium. Max loss, of course, $4,824 if Uber gets exercised under my contract and then goes all the way down to zero. But hopefully that won't happen. So what we're doing here, this is the options chain. Again, I'll just show you what it would look like. You know, if you want to do a month out, you could do that as well. That'd be about July 9th. And if you do the same thing, $49 in July 9th, $1.69. I personally don't think that that's that worth it, because with this shorter term contract for the same strike price, you can make more money by selling these weekly. So that's why I do them weekly. Of course, you take on a little more risk because the stock can move a little bit quicker and you have less time to expiration. But overall, I like weekly. You can always roll it if need be. Gonna do that. Going to put in the short put there. I'm going to fill it for 75 just so that we can get someone to pick it up right away. And then I'll go to review order. And you'll see that I am agreeing to buy 100 shares of Uber at $49 on or before June 18th. There we go. That's just the fine print. Submit. Hopefully we get picked up. Great, we got picked up at 76 bucks. What a joy. So you can see here it says collateral $4,900. So what that's going to mean here, if we go back to our main home page, under buying power, you can see that my collateral is being held for $4,900. So my buying power beforehand was about $7,000, and now it's only $3,000. Basically what happened is that my buying power got reduced by the amount of the options collateral. But unlike actually buying a security, I'm not paying interest on this options collateral. Again, the reason I love cash secured puts on margin. So now, as long as Uber doesn't dip too far below $49 before next Friday, I will likely keep a $75 premium. If it does dip significantly below $49 by, Wednesday or maybe Thursday, I'll likely roll this option so that I don't get exercised. Since you're playing with house money, you can roll this contract out for as long as you want and as far as you want. You might take a hit to your percent game over time, but it's something you can do to avoid paying interest on the margin, and as long as it's out of the money, you're probably not going to have it get exercised on you. So that's what a cash secured put is. That's why I like them so much, and that's how to buy one. Now, let's go into how I track them on my spreadsheet. So here is the spreadsheet. You can see it's the option writing strategy tracker that I made, and all you have to do is you put in the ticker, it'll give you the price, you put in your initial capital investment, and you put in the date started. Then it'll give you things as they start to become available. So it gives you my realized return of -41. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate because I've bought it at a terrible time initially. But if you look at the buy and hold, that's what would have happened if I bought 100 shares of Uber on the day I started this option writing strategy, this cash secured put strategy. But instead, I've been able to avoid about 7% of that loss by just selling cash secured puts for premium. Now my gain's actually going to be positive since I just sold a $76 contract. Got to put in open. And then we'll also put this over here. Again, we sold one, and we did the CSP for what's next Friday? We sold the cash secured put for $618 at $49 strike on today, June 7th. Boom. So now, if that does expire worthless, we would have a realized return of $35, which is 0.71%. And that would be significantly better than the buy and hold of Uber. What you see on the right side are all the premiums that I've been able to take in selling cash secured puts on Uber. On the left side, you see the times that I've either rolled or bought to close those options so that I didn't get exercised, so that I didn't start paying interest on my margin. For Uber, exclusively, I've been selling these cash secured puts over time, and the stock did go down. So like I was saying before, that can happen, but you can see I limited my downside by doing cash secured puts instead of actually holding the stock. Now that the stock seems to be trending upward, hopefully I'll begin to make money with this strategy, and either way, it's house money, so I'm not really losing anything either other than the theoretical opportunity cost of if I had invested this somewhere else. If you look at another stock that I've been running this cash secured put strategy on, Carnival Cruise Lines, you'll see I've been doing a couple other things besides just selling cash secured puts. I've been actually buying the stock and trading that a little bit, but the main thing is still selling cash secured puts on margin. And in that time on Carnival, I've had a realized return of almost about 10%. Of course, after taxes, it's a little bit lower, but you can see compared to the buy and hold of Carnival, it's actually a little bit higher. Again, what I'm doing with Carnival is still a cash secured put on margin, so it's playing with house money, money that I otherwise wouldn't have, and I'm not paying interest on that margin anyways, so it's pretty sweet to be doing this with essentially free money, with of course the caveats of being careful with the rest of your account if you're using a lot of margin. Of course, not a financial advisor. Make sure to do your own research and do this at your own risk. Margin is definitely not something to play around with if you don't fully understand it. So look it up, follow all the guidelines, and make sure that you're always staying out of hot water. You don't want to be margin called. That is zero fun. Thanks so much for watching. I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button. That would really help this video and channel out. And if you want to subscribe, that would be great as well. If you want to start a brokerage account today, you can start this Robinhood account by just clicking the link in the description, and with no minimum deposit, you'll get a stock valued up to $150. Could be a stock of Apple or something like that. That'd be pretty sweet. Also, if you start an M1 brokerage account, you'll get $30 guaranteed if you put $100 into there. That is a quick and easy 30% return on investment, which we love, clearly. Thanks so much again. See you in the next one. Bye.